All right, everything is moving fast, y'all, so you're going to have to keep up with the story, okay? Okay, there used to be this band called the Mamas and the Papas in the 60s, and all of a sudden all these YouTube videos about them start showing up in my feed. So now I've like gotten up on the story here, and it's kind of interesting because if there were people that watched this that were alive back then, you might not know this. My parents didn't. They were alive and cognizant. They only heard part of the story. They never heard the clearing up of it. Here's the story. So there was these two girls and two guys in a band, and I'm sure however old you are, you've probably heard, you'd have to hear them to go, oh yeah, I've heard that. They have a couple songs for sure that are pretty popular, really popular, and good. They're good. Well, they sing well and stuff like that. So there were the two girls, two guys. Now, from what I've learned from Wikipedia, the YouTube videos sent me to Wikipedia doing all this. So however good his story is told now is all I know. You know how people change things. But here's what they say. So there was one of the females was larger than the other, and she died in a hotel room, and they weren't sure. They thought it might be a drug overdose. They didn't know. So to protect her in case it did turn out to be a drug overdose, it's been a while since I read it now. It's been a couple months, but I think they said it was like her manager or something told everyone to just say she choked on a ham sandwich. And that story totally made it around. My parents even heard that. They told my parents aren't I don't know, they're just normal people. And they heard this ham sandwich story. Well, it turned out then they did the autopsy and figured out what she died of, and it had nothing to do with drugs, and it certainly had nothing to do with ham sandwich. They said the only reason they went with that is she had one sitting on her bedside table. There was one sitting on her bedside table when she died, so they just figured, okay, that's good. We'll go with the ham sandwich story. So, and she totally didn't. So here she is. She was like bigger, and then to have people spread that after she was dead. And it wasn't even the thing. Well, they cleared her. The autopsy showed it wasn't drugs. It was something else. But by that point, they'd already spread the ham sandwich story. So rather than take it back, they didn't bother to take it back. So people like my parents really think this poor woman died choking on a ham sandwich. It's such a horrible end, like of a legacy. They say her voice was incredible. There's all these people who know a lot more about music than me and voice and all that go on YouTube, and they show all these clips, and supposedly she was like this amazing singer, and they said she like was the voice of this band, the Mamas and the Papas. And so she dies, and she was young too. She was like 30 some or something like that. And she died in a room where they said there were two other famous musicians that died in that same exact room, in that same exact hotel, within the span of, I think, a couple years or something like that. So it's kind of a jinxed room as far as musicians went. But anyway, this ham sandwich thing just kills me. So now, and that was showing up in my feed like for a long time, like for a few months. I was getting all these stories about her, like focusing on her. Now all of a sudden, YouTube has decided that I must care about the other singer. So the other one, it turns out, was named Michelle. Now, so the one that was bigger, they called her Mama Cass. I thought it was because she was big and they were saying like Big Mama. Well, now I find out watching these other, which I thought was kind of mean. I'm like, didn't that bother her? But now watching these other videos that I'm now getting on Michelle in the same band, and they call her Mama Michelle. I'm like, oh, I didn't know they were both. So I guess that makes sense. The Mamas. So I wonder if the guys went by Papa such and such, whatever their name. Well, anyway, so now the story I get on the Michelle girl. Oh my God, this band had more drama. So it's really, she did a lot of, the Michelle girl got a lot of dudes, and apparently she took the dude that the Mama Cass one wanted. She took, and then, oh boy, all this drama, and then got kicked out, and then she was kind of like, what? Yeah, it's kind of weird. So because I watched an interview with her, and she was like, well, I didn't think they'd kick me out. It's like, well, you were screwed literally everybody over in the entire band. Like, oh no. Yeah, it was. It's quite a story. I don't know. No wonder there's a lot of YouTube content on it. They're probably whoever's making these videos is like, yeah, it happened 10,000 years ago, but it's still a good story. It is. I don't know the band, but the drama is pretty interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try to go get more nuts here. I can't. I have nothing. All right, so now we get to the juicy part of the story, and it feels like gossip, but I'll just try to tone it down. I can't believe the audacity. I just saw this interview that YouTube popped into my feed with the Michelle character. And at the time the video was taken, it was in the 80s. And she was very outspoken and what's the word for it? Unapologetic for like, yeah, she was married to the one guy in the band, then cheated on him with the other guy in the band, who was the guy that her best friend / co-singer was like had a crush on big time. And then so then everybody found out and got upset about that. So then she said this was her, she said the two guys moved in together and had a pool where she said lots of girls would come and swim in the pool. So she said therefore she felt justified. She started dating a guy from the band called The Byrds, which also I couldn't name their songs off the top of my head, but I know they were famous. And I'm pretty sure anyone listening to this, even if you don't think you know The Byrds, you probably do know a Byrds song. I know I do. I just don't know what they are at the moment. But anyway, so they were like another famous band. So she starts dating one of them, one of those guys. And then there was like a Mamas and Papas concert, and her boyfriend, her new boyfriend, Bird's boyfriend said, I've never seen you play, your band. So she said, okay. So she took him to like the Will Tell or whatever, and she said, hey, can you get this guy a ticket? She said they had no knowledge of what was going on between her and the Birds guy. So probably because of who she was, they gave the guy a ticket in the front row, which is just amazing for anyone who is familiar with the way these shows and things work. It's very strange that there even was availability in the front row, but okay. So they did. And especially day of the concert, there was availability there, but that's where they put him. And she said he was wearing a bright red shirt. So she said Cass knew about her and the Birds guy, but her two exes that were also in the band did not. So she said her and Mama Cass went over to that side of the stage and stood in front of him, so that the guys wouldn't stand there and notice him. But then she said, this is the strange part of the story, she said they started singing at him and flirting with him from the stage, which I'm like, what are you thinking? What are you totally, how do people have this little, like, unabashed, this much unabashed, like, non-care for anything? Like, I just can't even, and so, and I, and like, I would be so, I just can't imagine the awkwardness and like to be singing there and flirting with them. It just seems very strange. Oh, I have to get you one. And so, and it was interesting to me to hear that females do that. I mean, I know guys can like maybe take advantage of their position as singers in a band, but I didn't know females did. So that's what they were doing. And then she said, one of the guys, I assume it would have been her ex-husband, but maybe it was the ex-boyfriend at that point. I don't know. One of the other guys in the band caught on to what they were doing and screamed a swear word into the microphone and said, I think it was get the F over here. And I didn't know if she meant to the guy or to her, but apparently I guess to her. And then she said that's when she realized it was a big deal. That's when she realized it was a big deal that to be doing this, because she said, he did this right so the whole venue could obviously hear him because he screamed it into the microphone. And then they fired her from the band after that, which she said she was very surprised about. And I'm just like, I can't imagine being surprised. Like, I'm not dissing at her, whatever she does with her life, people do, that's fine. That's not mine to judge or care about. But to be surprised that they don't want you in the band at that point, that surprised me, that she was surprised. So I have been having a lot of fun with these old videos. And this was her in the 80s, like looking back on it. So it would have been, I guess, 10 plus years later, because it sounded like it was around, sounded like it was maybe around the early 70s or late 60s or something when they broke up. What a story. And you know, we think we got the corner on the market on crazy world these days. That whole thing's a crazy story. And the whole ham sandwich thing, I don't know when that happened. I don't know what year. I don't think it was much later, from what I understand. I think it was in the early 70s or something in the 70s where the ham sandwich thing happened. Death. And then I have to admit, I had this strange thought, and I don't know, maybe I'm not the only person. Maybe back in the day people noticed this too, but the one of them that was much thinner than the other did have a much more active dating life, and it makes you wonder if maybe dating keeps people thin. I don't know, but you would think it wouldn't, because if the guy's taking you out to dinner, then you're eating all kinds of good meals and you'd get bigger, I would think. What a story, though. And I want to get it out there for the ham sandwich girl that she did not die. And actually, I shouldn't even call her that because I'm making it worse. My point being, she did not die of a ham sandwich overload, or whatever they said, choking on a ham sandwich. And she certainly doesn't deserve to be remembered that way. Though I'd rather be remembered that way than the girl who broke up a band because she couldn't seem to just stay focused on a single dude. I'd rather be the ham sandwich girl. I'll be honest, I am the ham sandwich girl, except for I'm more of the ice cream girl, but hey, I get food. Food is my jam. If there's a free meal, I am so there. I don't even care what they're serving. I know who likes free food. I was going to ask who likes free food. That was Rocket Dude, by the way. And I was going to ask who likes free food, but I think we know a few people right here who do. I think I'm not the only one who likes a free sample. I don't like a free sample. I like a whole free meal. I know there's going to be people go, hey, didn't she get some free meals in her time? Yes, I did. But it's not why I was in a given place at a given time was for the free meal. But I will say I am grateful for any free meals I have ever had. I really am. Right now I could go for some ice cream. Actually, all the time I could go for some ice cream. There's not a time I can't. Doo-ba-doo. What are you doing down here? Uh-oh, Chasey. Chasey. Oh, no. Who wants an acorn sandwich? I don't have any acorns for you. I read that you might like them. They never do. Not anything I buy, anyway. But if they find them around, they might. I think they have to be certain kinds of acorns. Woo!